everybody is attributing these symptoms to the gas issue.
Yes.
So everything is not gas, everything is not acidity, everything is not H. pylori. Here it's like the people talk about H. pylori. You go there, everybody has taken like 3 or 4 or 5 times of that H. pylori kit. I don't know why.
Yeah.
But that's then again so these are the symptoms. But the patient has to be very vigilant about and they should ask the doctor, is there anything else that you talk about? Then you should ask them to go for the proper investigation so that it should be screened. This is a cancer that can be detected in easy things. You just go for simple stool-based tests. That can, if it shows there's some blood contents into that, then you go for the next level of investigation, which is the colonoscopy. That can 100% diagnose. Rather than we have seen different stories. Like recently, in the last couple of weeks ago, we saw a very young lady, 35. She presented with this epilepsy, and they were diagnosed as epilepsy. When with workup, found to have that her cancer has spread to the brain. And what was the cancer? That was a colorectal cancer.
Wow.
At the age of 35, it's a very alarming. And when we took the history, and then their family history was also positive for certain other cancers as well. So these cancers are very common in the family. So that should have been picked up so early. And on the history, then the family used to, that lady had those symptoms, but she was ignoring. And similarly was ignored by the doctors as well. So that awareness should be there. What are those symptoms? And then when they ask the physician, then they go for the particular test, rather than everybody's just not all symptoms are related to H. pylori or the gas.
Right. Okay, we'll come back to the awareness bit in just a moment. But you've talked about a few things that someone needs to do.
Yes.
But let's assume right now a patient comes to you as a doctor and says, "This is the symptoms that I have." What is the process after that? You have to go through what kind of screening? What do you need to do?
Yes. So whenever the patient comes to us, then start from the history, which includes the age. As I said, the age is a very critical. If it's a 45, then the threshold of investigation should be lower. Then it comes the history. Then the history, if the patient gives you the history that he is passing the blood in the stool, that it's a red flag sign. Whenever there's a blood from the body going out, it should be taken seriously. And then even after the workup, it turned out to be a very benign thing, but it should be given due respect to that symptom. Then the pain, right? Then the unexplained pain. And then the change in the bowel habits, right? If it is like new change, and if it is happening since childhood, then we should say maybe it's not that significant. Then goes to the family history. If there's a family history positive for the breast cancer, for the colorectal cancer, or the lung cancer, these are the people at higher risk. Then your threshold for doing these investigations will be high. Then the next step would be to go for generic test. Like you go for the blood test, which shows that if there's hemoglobin low, then you look for why the hemoglobin is low. Then you go for other blood tests as well, like liver function test. You go for the creatinine. And then if you found those based on the history and then on the investigation, you found that there is something significant, then you go for the invasive test, which includes the colonoscopy or the virtual colonoscopy, and then you also go for, in the baseline, you go for the stool test as well. You go for the stool. There are different types of immuno-based tests, guide-based tests, or the DNA-based tests. Whatever is available, the easily available is the stool focal blood. You go for 3 times test. If it is positive, you go for the colonoscopy. There's the false positive rate there as well, but you can go for those simple tests. You will get that. You pick up. You're not necessarily that every patient should go for colonoscopy. Based on that history, those investigations, you choose those patients for the further investigations.
What about something that's very, a key issue is affordability and accessibility, even going to the hospitals. Now, from your experience, how expensive is it to
Yes, it is expensive, but the good thing is that the insurance companies are covering that. And again, this is one of the deadly diseases. So that it's up to the people when they are talking to the insurance, so they should convince the government that it should be the part of their screening program, like the breast cancer screening program. So then when there's easily available everywhere, then the price will go down, or maybe the subsidized by the government for these things. If some majority of the people cannot afford even those insurance companies, right? So then the easily availability of those tests into the government or the private hospital or the public sector. If it is a private, then should be supported or subsidized by the government for those investigations, because it's a life-threatening disease that can be easily prevented, and you can save younger age group from this deadly disease. Ultimately, it will help to the society.
Still talking about the costs, a lot of the times when someone is diagnosed with cancer, there's always a thought of going to India. for treatment?
So that's the problem, that's one thing. So now the African countries have to think of that these things can easily be done. For the colorectal cancer, it's not that far where you need high-tech people to go to the India to travel that much, how much you're spending money on that, just travel to that. But if you send 100 or 1,000 patients to the India each year, how much money you're wasting on that? Rather than if you invest that money into your country, you will save a lot of people. Rather than those 1,000, you will save millions of people here with that money. So you know that the human resources are here. You have got the capabilities here. You've got the expertise here. You've got those hospitals here who can work for these things. It's the trust in the doctors, the available doctors here should be developed in the community rather, because they have the fear that we don't have that capacity, but definitely we have the capacity to treat these colorectal cancer at a local level rather than going for those things.
So which means in terms of even technological advancements in terms of
they are available here, yes.
What about in terms of research? Is there enough research done in this country when it comes to colorectal cancer?
So not to the standard level, that's we are working on that so that we should make our case is strong to develop the research. Number one, the prevalence, how much the frequent diseases that the people are. So we are working on that to make a collaboration to get the grants to do the community level prevalence of that study, and then we can work on that. So there are hospital-based reports. I've recently a study published from one of the centers in the Kenya that shows it's the number 3 cancer in the colorectal cancer. But of course, you cannot generalize at the whole Kenya level. That needs a community-based study, and in that, to do the research, you need funding, and the funding in the government should come at front. We are here to facilitate that. We need funding for that. If the funding is there, we can do that research at the community. Then we need to collaborate with international bodies as well.
Is the government willing to support when it comes to research and funding of it?
Sorry, if the government is willing to us, yes, the capacity, infrastructure, we have all that infrastructure and capacity available with us. We have the research trained staff there. We are running this community-based studies, so that can easily be done.
Right. Okay, I think I want us to take a short commercial break, but we'll come back and talk more about this. We want to take a short commercial break here on News Center. Remember, we're talking about colorectal cancer. It is the awareness month for this particular cancer. But let's take that break first and then come back to that conversation.
KTN News. Get the whole story. Get ready for the ultimate thrill of football action.
Martinelli!
It's all about the football sleep.
Little deflection on the way through.
The most exciting sports show and predictions that will keep you on the edge of your seat.
Liverpool against Manchester City is going to be a draw.
Join us as we bring you expert analysis, exclusive interviews, and the hottest predictions for the upcoming matches.
Now focus on which games Tusker has a good against Lopez.
You make usoke kichwa popote.
From the tactical masterclasses to the jaw-dropping goals, we've got it all covered. Don't miss out on the excitement where every kick, every goal, and every prediction matters. The Football Sleep, every Friday from 10 p.m. to 11 p.m. We value your feedback and welcome any comments, queries, or complaints regarding our news content. You can get in touch with us on SMS 22155, call 0719 012 450, or email feedback@standardmedia.co.ke, or you can send us a letter on Post Office Box 30080-00100, or deliver it to our offices at Standard Group Center, Mombasa Road, Nairobi.
How did you
come up to have this passion of changing lives around the community.
So upolisi wangu bandia uliisha ile siku nilishika polisi ama askari wa ukweli.
Nitatoka hapa kwa hospitali. Huyu mtoto mimi nitampeleka wapi?
Even some of us clergy, we are having a problem with alcohol.
Even clergy are struggling.
Yes, they're struggling.
Tunasafirishia watu guns, mabebea, Baka Coast.
That was my first time kusikia mlio wa risasi. There's one of us was shot.
Akaniambia nitoke kwake na nisiwahi rudi na nisiangalie hata hiyo mlango yake. Na nitoke na huo mtoto.
Jig cleans and kills 99.9% of illness-causing germs and COVID-19 in your home. Jig, your family's guardian against germs and COVID-19.
Sema mpenzi hayupen, umepotelea wapi? Umefanya nini?
Your father, you are a family of diplomats.
He called my wife one day and said, "What's Gila doing? What's going on?" And she answered him, "He's doing simply at 27
yes.
what he didn't do at 17. You know, it will pass. It will pass." Will you say milele? Sema milele.
Tafadhali. Sema milele. Baby, usijali.
This February, tunakupenda daily on Star Times,
where you make me the happiest man on earth.
Me, of course, me napenda kijana. I like you, bro.
Renew your subscription today. Star Times. Enjoy digital.
KTN News. Get the whole story.
Welcome back to News Center. Of course, we're having a discussion on colorectal cancer. It is the awareness month for this particular cancer. In studio, I'm joined by Dr. Om Parkash. He is a consultant and gastroenterologist at Aga Khan University. Dr. Om Parkash, well, we were talking about, we've talked a lot about this particular cancer, but let's talk about the treatment options now, the chemo treatment. Give us more details on that.
Yeah, so, you know, the colorectal cancer, as I've told you that this is one of the very deadly disease, and the treatment, again, yes, treatments are available, but the treatment depends upon at what stage the disease is diagnosed. If they're lucky one, they can be picked up on the colonoscopy. If they're very localized disease, they can be removed. You know, the treatment depends upon stage and how do you stage them. It needs a lot of workup, which includes like the blood workup, which includes radiology, which includes CT scan, PET scan. So regarding the treatment, you know, it's always better. This is a disease which needs a multidisciplinary approach. It's not that one physician is treating that person. So here you need the involvement of the gastroenterologist, you need the involvement of the surgeon, you need the involvement of the oncologist, you need the involvement of the radiotherapist, you need the involvement of the psychologist, you need the involvement of the the pharmacy nurse. So you know, it's a multidisciplinary approach to that. And then whenever you diagnose it, it needs proper workup. It's not just you jump onto the treatment. So the proper workup, and then you map out the plan. So this is a stage 1, is a stage 2, stage 3, stage 4. So there are treatments like which is locally treatment. It can be surgery, it can be chemotherapy, it can be immunotherapy, it can be radiotherapy. So these are the different armamentarium which are available. And in the fourth, if it's very advanced, then the palliative care. So then it depends what stage is that. It can be given as a solo treatment, can be given as a combination. Again, it depends upon the stage. And you know, this whole treatment, it goes into the cycles and it's a life. And then once it's diagnosed, it's a lifetime commitment and long-term relationship with the physicians. Then they need a follow-up, and if they're lucky enough to be cured, then they need to be put on the surveillance and then the follow-up. If it is advanced stage, then we give those type of to modify the treatment to make that life alleviate their misery. So then it's all depends upon their stage of the disease. Not just we can say it's a malaria, you take this treatment, it's H. pylori, you take this treatment for 7 days, you're done. No, it's a long-term commitment, and it depends upon the treatment and the multidisciplinary approach to that treatment, and depends upon the availability of the treatment as well, and the cost as well. Yeah.
Oof. I mean, pretty heavy, but just how best can you protect yourself in terms of like prevention from this particular cancer?
So yes, this is one of the very, very preventable thing, easily doable things. Number one, you should be aware of the signs and symptoms to pick up, to go to early. But before that, you know, adopt the healthy lifestyle at the earlier age, which will prevent from not only from this cancer, will prevent from many, all the top 10 causes of the deaths. Like this is a life infectious disease, the cardiovascular disease, all the cancers. What is that healthy lifestyle is? You need to have a good physical activity, you need to have a good water intake, you need to have a good fruit intake, you need to have a good vegetable intake, balanced diet, which includes the components of everything. That is a diet. If you are obese, try to reduce your weight. If you are diabetes, you need to control your diabetes very well controlled with a proper follow-up. If you have kind of a family history, you need to go to the doctor at earlier stage. And then if you have any other risk factors, like anything, like any other illness, then you need a proper follow-up with the doctor. So with these measurements, you can prevent from these deadly diseases.
Right, well said. Let's now talk about prevalence, the prevalence of colorectal cancer in Africa. We've talked about Kenya a bit, but in the continent, give us.
So you know, in the continent, again, the data at the community level is like in some countries the data is good, but now the data is coming up. You know, the life expectancy of the African countries is improving because of the improvement in the lifestyle. Improvement in the healthy life as well. So the life expectancy, let's say with the Kenya, if you take about 10 years ago, it was in 50s, now it has gone to 60s. So as the life expectancy is increasing, so the prevalence of these non-communicable diseases will also increase. So as at a community level or at the African level, we can say it's in the top 3 cancers in Africa, the colorectal cancer.
Right, let's talk about Pakistan, because I know.
Yes. Yeah. So my whole experience is from the Pakistan. Again, we are like a low middle income countries. Similarly, we don't have that data, we don't have that much of awareness in that part of the world. Unfortunately, the people who are at high risk, most of the patients are diagnosed very late stage when they have the symptoms. Screening programs are not there as well, so they are struggling with that thing. The people who have good insurance, or they are aware of their siblings in the abroad or in the Western countries and the Asia Pacific, then they come for the screening program. But at a government level or at the public level, we don't have that screening program there as well. So the people, if they have symptoms, they come to us.
What do you think the Kenyan government should do in terms of supporting people who have this particular?
Yes, the community. So the first, again, it should be strategic plan, strategic thinking from the government level to come for that thing. The government, of course, they have to take care of all the diseases. So they should take care of them. These are the generic measures that can, implement the screening programs for all the cancers. Similarly, screening program for the non-infectious diseases as well. They should implement at the school level. At the school level, when the children should be knowing that what is the healthy lifestyle, they should be prevented. So with that, start at the school level, then at the parental level, then this way. So then at least they should start at provide those screening program in the government level hospital and in the private and public partnership. They should make sure that every individual at the age of 45 should go for the screening, at least for the stool-based test, and if they are diagnosed, then they should go for the colonoscopy, and then should be subsidized by the government.
Well, my final question now, of course it is the awareness month for this particular cancer. So what is being done to create that awareness, and what more should be done?
So, you know, I am surprised to see, but this is my first year in Kenya. So, you know, so nobody's talking about that awareness. So in the Western countries, if you go, there are certain international societies of the gastroenterologists, they label this month as a colorectal cancer awareness. Like you might know that the breast cancer awareness month is observed in the October, but this is we started in the Aga Khan this month, first time that we are doing this colorectal cancer, and then people should know that March is the month we call as a blue month, where you can say, so everybody should be wearing, so that people should know about that. You should do different kinds of activities, and even the government should also do that thing. So, you know, they should have a plan for the health ministry should do the plans for every disease every month, every week, like they have a cardiac month, there's a breast month, there's a cervical month. Similarly, they should be doing those activities every month. So then the people should be knowing that, aware of those diseases, and then start talking to their physicians, start talking to their legislators that we need this help in the government level and in the private level.
Right. Thank you. This has been a very insightful and informative,
Thank you so much for having me here.
I appreciate that.
And I hope this will work for the Kenya to, you know, create some awareness to have some impact.
Definitely. I believe people are watching, so they're learning also. That is Dr. Om Parkash. He's a consultant and gastroenterologist and hepatologist at Aga Khan University Hospital in Nairobi. Moving on now, women from pastoralist communities have started enjoying the right to own land and getting recognition